Hello out there, casual fanatics. Jeremy here, and this is a casual vlog where really I just have another topic I want to talk about, so it's kind of a bit of a shadow shoot as well, much like the last one, only it's a different topic in gaming. I was watching YouTube, and specifically a review or a preview of Overwatch, which has recently been in beta. It's going to be released soon. And before that was an ad roll for the game Lawbreakers, which is an alpha right now from Nexon. And it looks to be a game, well, here's what the ad said, the first words of the ad. This isn't a utopia. This is the real future. And of course, all through it, it's guns, 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 occasional stabbing, guns, 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 guns. Turned me off from that game right from the word go. Because, well, of course, for one thing, I'm not a gun person. But even that notwithstanding, it's billing itself expressly on the fact that it's a dystopia. And that seems to be a problem in modern media. Whenever there's a future, it's either post-apocalyptic or in the midst of terrible shit. It seems like in this day and age, our fictional futures are all dystopias, with very rare exception. This bothers me to a great degree because, you know, I grew up with Star Trek, with, you know, the original series and the Next Generation. I grew up with that. And I also grew up with, you know, reading science fiction books and playing various different video games set in all kinds of different time periods. And while I do go through some terrible stuff and I do have issues with more than likely depression, even though I've never actually been diagnosed, I still try to remain optimistic about the future. Even when I was having all that terrible shit happen to me right at the beginning of March, it never occurred to me that that was all my life was going to be. That I still felt like I deserved better than what I was getting. And you may partially chalk that up to, well, I'm on the older edge of being millennial, so it's just, you know, the usual millennial entitlement, which if you're going that route immediately, shut up and hear me out, all right? It bothers me that the prevailing mindset in this day and age is that the future is going to suck. Is that the future is just going to be filled with even more pain, more destruction, more war, more violence, more of every awful thing you can imagine. And I know where it comes from. I know that it comes from things not being so great now. We've had issues with the economy for like about the last 10 years. You know, we've been seeing our politicians just get more and more vile and virulent and angry and pathetic and ugh. I know that is happening now. Why does that have to be our future? Why do people see that as the end point that we're reaching? Why do people think that there's not some way to come back from this? That's what gets my goat more than anything else. It's like, shit sucks now. Fuck hope. I don't roll that way. I don't want to feel that way. I don't want to believe that all that is now is all there will ever be. This is probably why I tend to gravitate to fictional universes that, even if they recognize the terrible shit of the modern day, still have those elements of we can do better and we are going to do better. I'll give you 2 examples of those right now. My 2 most favorite fictional futures, fictional sci-fi universes are Babylon 5, Stargate SG-1. And I'll explain why. Let's start with Babylon 5, because really this is the biggest one that influences my thinking on this. J. Michael Straczynski did a masterful job writing this universe, because he realized that humanity doesn't have its shit together now, and admittedly, even in the future when we're working together and going out and exploring the universe and meeting aliens, we're probably still not going to have all of our shit together. We've got a lot to work on, and not everything's going to have an easy fix. That I recognize and admit. But we were still able to accomplish a lot. We were still able to go out and explore. We were still able to meet alien races and become friendly with them. We were still able to give alien races the fight of their lives, even when we were horribly outmatched, because we just would not give the fuck up. And at the end of it all, we created a place where every race in the galaxy could come in, do their business, talk with each other, make trade agreements, treaties, armistices, and do all their business in a peaceful, safe place. No other alien race did that but the humans, which is a common trope in sci-fi, but I'm not going to get there. I'm not going to go there. It is a very real future and a very optimistic future. There are still humans doing dumb shit in the world of Babylon 5. There's the Psi Corps who is only out for themselves. There are the people of the Earth Alliance that are pretty much just pro-Terran and that's it. There are still a wide variety of religions from humanity. One of the best episodes of this series is when Sinclair is fretting about how to best express the religious climate of his planet. And at the end of it, what he decides on is just have like a line of people from different faiths and go down the line greeting them in their specific manner, their particular manners. You've got Christians, you've got Jewish people, you've got Muslims, you've got atheists there, you've got everything there. And that's written by an atheist, J. Michael Straczynski, who still has enough respect for all the other religions that he can recognize that they're probably still going to exist for a long period of time, and that all of them do have something to say that benefits us as humanity. So, it is not a perfect future, but it is a good future. And it's one that's very attainable for us. I honestly think it's the most realistic vision of what our future is going to be when we finally get out into space and explore the universe. When we finally break out beyond the confines of our solar system. I truly believe that. On that same line, Stargate SG-1. Humans stumble across a piece of alien technology that allows them to travel light years in an instant. That lets them literally step out of a room on planet Earth out onto an alien landscape, which looks amazingly like British Columbia. But let's not go there. And humanity has a hard time of it because inevitably, when you meet alien races, and one of your ambassadors is a very snarky jackass, a very snarky but lovable jackass by the name of Colonel O'Neill, you know, you're inevitably going to make some enemies. But humanity also makes enough allies that not only are they able to help fend off those enemies, but they're able to come into their own as citizens of the universe, as more than just residents of planet Earth. And initially that just starts out with the United States, but it eventually expands out to include every nationality, as you see in the Atlantis team, where you've got Canadians, you've got Scottish people, you've got, I'm trying to remember, was one of the doctors Czech? Yeah, I think one of the doctors was Czech. You've got people from all over Earth who have willingly packed up everything that they care about and gone into a completely different galaxy for the betterment of humanity, to find out more about our place in the universe and the races that came before us. That is a hopeful universe. And again, we accidentally piss off some aliens, but we make allies as well. That's a very realistic thing to imagine that our future is going to be like. Yes, if we meet any extraterrestrial races, there are going to be some we are going to piss off. But there are going to be some who are going to become the best allies we've ever had. That's how it's going to go. That's the nature of how social interactions on a scale unimagined previously in mankind work. So it's not unrealistic to say that those two represent pretty much how our future is actually going to go. Even with examples like that, we still have apocalypse after apocalypse where the world has just completely gone to shit, and it's either just a hellhole that's trying to rebuild itself or in the process of becoming a hellhole that is self-perpetuating. Honestly, I don't like that kind of fictional future. I fucking hate that kind of fictional future. It's just so nihilistic and depressing and awful. It's like, life sucks now, life's gonna suck in the future, there's nothing you can do about it, so just wait for the inevitable heat death of the universe. Thank you, Cube. Thank you so much for that. By the way, no, I will not sign a contract. And it seems like in video games in particular, and in various other bits of media, there are very few new universes that have been created within the last 10 to 15 years that have any kind of optimism to them. And I don't see how that's a good thing for games. Why is that almost all there is? In fact, the one major exception that I can think of at this exact moment, and if there are any other exceptions, please feel free to comment. Be nice about it, but feel free to comment. The one exception I can think of comes from E3 of 2015, where we saw the first looks at a game called Horizon New Dawn, which can be best described as being post-apocalyptic, as not being after the end, but after a new beginning. By the way, there's your tagline, Horizon New Dawn. You can have it. I don't ask for much. Just like 100 a month would work. But yeah, it is a lively, colorful world where there Or something else that's very rare in post-apocalyptic settings in this day and age, there are plants. There's trees. There are flowers. There's sunlight. There's fauna. Cyber fauna, but still fauna. And there are people who, yes, are fighting for survival in that universe. But the thing is, clearly the worst of it is behind them. Long behind them. The worst of it is well over, and humanity remains. Not only that, humanity remains and has already rebuilt some form of civilization. Even if it's just kind of retro, postmodern tribalism, they've still rebuilt a civilization. That's not something that you see a lot in modern fictional futures. And that's why I'm so excited for that game, because it's not the same depressing shit. There's color in the world. The sky is blue. It's not, yellow streaked with gray and brown. It's bright, it's vibrant, it's full of life, and it's full of hope. And you get to explore that world in that game, apparently. How awesome is that? I want to see more fictional futures along those lines. I want to see more looking into the future and seeing us being able to overcome the bullshit that we're with here now. Because you know why Donald Trump ascended to where he is? It's because people didn't give a fuck. It's because people looked at the terrible shit that had happened to us and thought, yep, that's all it's going to be. And then things just snowball and snowball till we have a virulently violent, anti-virtuous demagogue for a presidential candidate. If you want to believe that the future is just going to be darkness and pain, congratulations, you're probably going to be part of the creation process. Me? I don't play that way. I am not going to play that. I'm not going to allow myself to believe that there's going to be literal hell on earth. I'm not going to believe that, it's all going to be darkness and pain and dystopia. I'm going to believe that there is going to be a turnaround at some point. There's going to be a point where humanity is going to say, we can do better than this shit. Been moving around so much, I accidentally made my camera not fall down a little bit. Whoops. But yeah, I honestly believe there's going to be a point where we as a humanity are going to be saying, no more of this shit, please. We're going to say, look, I realize we got some problems we're still going to work out. Let's put that shit on hold and get to this place where we're actually doing good things in the world. Fuck that negative shit. Let's start building a future that is worth having. Because I don't want to see a future of death, murder, kill. I don't want to see that kind of a future. I don't want to see a future where, I don't want to see futures like the Hunger Games. I don't want to see futures like Divergent. I don't want to see futures where everything is awful until one special snowflake appears. No, I want to see a future where humanity as a whole decides, fuck this depressing shit. Where humanity decides as a whole that we want to make everyone's lives better. That we want to get to a place where, because I'll tell you right now, dark, depressing universe, the way things are, if we do meet any extraterrestrials, we're going to piss off way more people than we make allies. I honestly believe that. If we want to get to a place where we've actually got a chance in the universe, where we've actually got a chance amongst races that are probably much older and much more advanced than our own, should they be proven to exist, it's not going to come from a future where the United States is bombed into almost nuclear oblivion. It's not going to come from a future where it's not going to come from a future where our first reaction to everything is awful is, oh, well, that's shitty. Our reactions to when things go wrong should not be, that's the way the world is. Our first reaction should be, this is really stupid. We should probably do something about it. That's part of why, for the first time in years, I registered to vote. Because I'm seeing this as a prime opportunity to say, shit is so stupid right now, and I don't want that cycle continuing. Because I don't want to be part of a cycle of a downward spiral of pessimism. And I hope you don't either. I want to get to the future of Babylon 5. I want to meet Vorlons, should they actually exist. I want to meet Minbari, should they actually exist. I want to be out there, and I want to meet all these various different weird and wonderful races that are probably like nothing we have even ever imagined. I want to go see the weird and wonderful shit that's out there in the universe. And we're not going to do that if we're so focused on grim and dark and awful and ugh. I'm tired of seeing that in media. It's not any fun. And it's not going to make us better in any way. So, game developers, movie studios, television shows, book writers, please write more positive stuff. Don't write what you know, write what you want to have. Because we need media in this day and age that will inspire us to greatness the same way that Star Trek did back in the 60s. Keep it casual, y'all.